Welcome to Biz Coach and Coffee, where our guests are experts, entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants that share tips, strategies, and tactics to help small business entrepreneurs grow their business for long-term success. Please welcome your host, Biz Coach Steve Feld.
Hello, everyone. I'm Biz Coach Steve Feld, and my goal is to stop business owners from suffering entrepreneurial depression and start making running their businesses much easier. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to crack 7 figures without burning themselves out. Today, we have another wonderful guest with us who's going to share some phenomenal strategies to help you grow your business. We have Jamie J, and he's the founder and managing director of Bottleneck Distant Assistance. And he has been sourcing DAs from the Philippines since 2006. His Bottleneck DAs is a team of remote-based professionals dedicated to assisting ambitious leaders to identify, hire, and cultivate remote team members. They support entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, C-level executives, founders, business advisors, consultants, legal professionals, real estate executives, professional speakers, podcasters, physicians, counselors, and many more. So you gotta have it. The need for DAs continue to rise, and Jamie is leading the field. Please welcome up Jamie J.
How are you, Steve?
Excellent, man. Always a pleasure speaking with you.
This is fantastic. I'm super excited to chat with you.
Well, great. You've started your business a while ago, and it's going great. What got you into it?
So I had an ad agency. As a matter of fact, that's one of our biggest focus right now, our agency owners, because we can really, really help them out. Just for the simple fact that I was in their shoes exactly, and I'm seeing a lot of similar challenges they're experiencing today that I experienced. We recently interviewed an agency owner, and she was saying, this is my bottleneck, and this is my bottleneck, and this, and I'm like nodding up and down, like it was describing me, years ago. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, what got me into it was just creating vulnerability in myself, knowing that I needed to get out of my own way, and I actually needed support. And that was hard for me to admit because I wanted to do everything. And there's a couple of things like, I can just do it faster if I do it myself. And that mentality really closed me down from being able to grow and scale effectively, and effectively like all caps. And so it took me a while to get out of my own way, so to speak, and I think that's when I started. In 2006, with that agency, we actually decided to, my business partner was from the Philippines, but we lived in California at the time. And he goes, I think I have a way that we might be able to do this. It's very cost effective, extremely productive. And I fell in love with the culture. I fell in love with Filipinos. I fell in love with the process. And I'm such a systems and process driven freak, geek, I guess you could say, that it just kind of fell into place. And I was like, why didn't I do this years ago? So that's kind of how I got into it, to start my own agency business.
That's phenomenal. And you actually mentioned one of the biggest things I think that's killing business owners is they think that they have to do everything themselves, and they just can't let it go to train someone or hire the right people on. So by doing that, how much time what are some of the results? I mean, I know them, but I want to hear it from you. It's like, because I've been there. Yeah. We've talked about this. Having someone help you out, what does that kind of shift in the owner, just time-wise, everything-wise?
Well, I think it's all rosy, and you see these things, oh, you're going on vacation. And as a matter of fact, at the time of this recording, my wife and I are going on vacation. Like we're going to be super excited. And guess what? We did this same thing even 2 years ago, and I worked. We created a video out of my working remotely. And I thought, wow, how cool is this? Let's just do this while it's recording. And I'm like, what am I doing? Meeting. I'm at a resort. I need to take some time. We're literally going to take some time next week. That's the outcome that everybody so desires, right? Making sure that you leave and not have any worries. Everything's going to be running like clockwork. Like, will there be hiccups? I'm sure there'll be a couple, but I'm really not that worried about it. Me 5 years ago, yeah, it would have been a nightmare. And even 3 years ago, 2 years ago. But I chose to do that, so it was okay. But still, take a break. Mm-hmm. That's the nice, polished, happy, go smile ad. Like, oh, everybody's so happy, right? That's the outcome that we want to get to. The challenge is outcomes versus reality and what needs to happen in order to achieve whatever success means to you. For me and my wife, success means that we get to go spend our weekends on our property, driving the tractors and chopping down trees. We love that stuff. It's fun. We get to play hockey together. We love that stuff. It's fun. But the reality of it is, when we first hire somebody, things are a little more challenging. Why? Because now somebody else is coming into an area that's familiar to us, but not for them. And most, I'll say more than most, have all of their knowledge in their brain. Everything is done a certain way. And you may have access to your CRM and to this and to whatever tools you're using, and you do things the way that you do things. And you just know. And so for so many of us, we just expect someone to know what's in our brain and do the things that they're supposed to do. So when you first make that transition, the biggest challenge I see most people is they don't know that it's going to get a little bit harder before it gets easier. But I always say, what are you going to do in 6 months from now? Mm-hmm. No matter what, 6 months is coming. Do you know when 6 months gets here? 6 months from now. Do you want to be in the same position you are now? Or do you want to use that time to build for scalability, to build for delegation, to build so that you can focus on doing your best work? So one of our provocative point of view is we assist business leaders that are doing the wrong things so they can focus on doing their best work. And one of my favorite quotes by my good friend Scott Beebe is, do something as if it's the last time you're ever going to do it. Meaning document. And I absolutely know you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
You've done it in your business. So that's probably the biggest thing that I think I embraced wholeheartedly, 100%. And now, we have 24 internal team members working for us, systems, processes. Everybody knows how to do workflows. It's a machine. It's running. And we just put everybody in the position that they get a lot of energy out of. I don't like accounting. I don't do accounting. We got somebody that loves numbers. I don't necessarily like writing. Mm-hmm. We have incredible writers. I do like tinkering with video editing, but I don't get a ton of energy out of it. We have a video editor. We have an audio editor. We have, so find people that really thrive in those positions. I have a wonderful personal assistant. I'm terrible, unfortunately, at details and follow-up. I forget things because I have so many things going on, but she's awesome at that. And so she's constantly in here reminding, Jamie, 5 minutes, don't forget, you got to meet with Mr. Feld, so it's really exciting. And I so want that for other people.
You brought up some phenomenal points. Some things I've been preaching from the rooftops for years. I wrote an article called The Vacation Liberator. And that's one of the worst things I hear from business owners is like, I haven't taken a vacation in fill in the blank years. And it's like, you know how unhealthy that is. And two, how does your spouse really like that? Or your significant other, whatever the case may be. You are actually doing more harm by not re-energizing your batteries. And everyone says, well, I can't take a vacation because, and it's always, well, if I leave, like the place is going to burn down. It's not. Jamie is telling you, you got to start delegating and put the right people on the bus to pass that on to. Like you mentioned some great things. You don't like doing accounting? Great. You find the people who love that stuff.
Yep.
And start delegating. And I see that just with small business owners. So you're like accomplishing a lot with small business owners. just by, freeing their lives up and stop grinding out doing the things you hate.
Yeah, it really is. So you know what? One thing that I have to say too is you do have to find that passion, that drive. You really have to understand your why. I studied focus and I studied listen. These are words of the year. As a matter of fact, they're back on my screen, right? Focus, finding opportunities by creating uninterrupted strategy sessions. Listen intentfully and soulfully to engage notably. We did other words like kindness and opportunity, and we really studied these words for an entire year. And the reason why is because we have to understand what passion really means to us. What is our vision? Not just words on a wall. What is our mission? So this is so important that you're doing something that you're passionate about. And most people that start, entrepreneurs, agency owners, marketing agencies, SEO agencies, ad agencies, they start because they're really excited about, oh, we can create this and that, and really, really support these other people. But then all of a sudden, other things creep into their role. Billing, invoices, sales, follow-up, invoicing, sales, billing, like all these, accounting, all these other things that you're doing. And we get caught up in it. Don't worry, I can finish all this. I can finish all this. I can finish all this. And pretty soon before you know it, divorces, missing the kids' little league game, or right now at the time of this recording, graduation is going on.
Oh, yeah.
Did you forget to get your daughter's graduation dress, your son's tuxedo for the big deal, or the gown, or whatever it is? And all of this is centered around making sure that you have enough passion. Now you have to understand too, not everything's going to be pink elephants and lemonade, right? But if you can have the passion associated, so much so that I like that 75-25 split. 75% of the time I'm talking to Steve Feld. I'm, planning stuff. I'm, working on the bigger picture. I'm going to a conference, or I'm doing things that are going to affect my business that I really thrive on. 25% though, I still have to have the sales meetings. I still have to go through and work with the bookkeeper and stuff like that, stuff that does not really give me energy, but I do it. That's what I call the sludge. I get through that sludge because I know I'm going to reward myself with 75% of the time of doing stuff that I actually love, right? So I think that's really important, to really, really, really be passionate about what it is you're doing.
Excellent. Some phenomenal points. I hope everyone's getting something out of this. We're going to take a quick break for our sponsor, but we'll be right back with Jamie.
This episode is sponsored by Spotlight Books. Get your expert book completed in 30 days. If you don't have an expert lead magnet book about you and how you serve your market, then visit www.spotlight-books.com. Link is also in the show notes. Put a spotlight on your expertise.
And we're back with Jamie J from Bottleneck. Jamie's been giving us some great tips on how having a distant assistant is going to free up your time and change your life. I have to always ask this because it's such a great question. It's like, what is one thing you learned the hard way that you would tell yourself, like, hey, this is coming, get ready for it?
What is one thing I learned the hard way? How much time do we have? I was very stubborn. I think the biggest thing that I learned was taking the time, the painstaking, nails on chalkboard time of sitting down and just thinking and documenting what my thoughts were. And I didn't realize how helpful this was going to be because we're busy. I literally was doing back-to-back meetings. And when do I have time for this? So what I did is I finally scheduled a time just to think, just to focus. How many people can say they actually take an hour a day just thinking? And if hour a day is too much, start off at 5 minutes, start off at 10 minutes and just think. And that saying, do something as if it's the last time you're ever going to do it, probably contributes to the biggest breakthrough that I ever had. Because once I documented something, delegated that, saw that this person was able to do exactly what I was doing, and later improve upon that process because I was no longer doing it, they were, my level of confidence in the delegation efforts that I'm now very active in doing shot through the roof. And so what does that do? It gives me the confidence to delegate even more responsibility, take more stuff off my plate. So I think that was probably my biggest breakthrough, the thing that took me the longest. And I thought, I knew about this before. Why didn't I do it? Like, why didn't I take that time? Why didn't I trust myself enough to be able to have that action taken care of? Important,
Yeah.
but not important for me to do it. Why didn't I do that earlier? Oh my gosh, I'd be so far ahead. I'll give you one example, my emails. I was spending about 90 minutes a day on email, which by the way is under the average. I was spending about 90 days. You take a wild guess on how many minutes I spend a day on email.
Probably not a lot anymore.
If it's 10 minutes, it's a lot. I would say probably a little bit less, but we've come up with a system, kind of a cheat sheet, if you will, to where my assistant manages my inbox now. I did the math on that. And at 10 minutes a day versus 90 minutes a day, that saved me over 2 months of a year of time.
Wow.
What would you do if we had 14 months in a calendar year instead of 12? It's like game changer.
Oh, yeah. And you also, I mean, this is great. You should be documenting what's going on in your business, because I see this working with business owners and they want to sell their business and exit. No one wants to buy a business that nothing's written down. And if it's only all up in the owner's head, definitely no one wants to buy that business.
Yep.
So you documenting your procedures. I did it in the business I took over. They were in business 35 years. No, nothing was documented, not even job descriptions. We spent 6 months documenting everything, came up with big binders. Anytime we needed to hire someone, we just open up the binder to that page. There's the ad, the description, how we're going to interview them, the interview questions, everything. It's saved. We couldn't even calculate the hours. It was saving so much time. And it'll streamline your business, and you're going to find better people because you have a process.
Hey, man, I tell you, it is a freaking game changer. It is such a game changer. Every click of the mouse button is a step for us. And what's really cool is my internal team, as well as all of our distant assistants that are placed with our clients externally, are trained in workflow management and delegation management, among whatever specific role and responsibilities they're signed up for. But everybody is trained in that. So if you don't know where to start, if it's all chaos and you don't know where to start, that's why we are in business today.
That's it.
Exactly.
Well, great. I know you're a big giver. I'm a giver. What can you offer the audience, or how can they connect with you to learn a little bit more about this?
Well, I mean, you could always go and check out bottleneck.online. We're launching a relatively new, it's pretty cool. It's you go in there and you answer about 5 questions, and it automatically matches you with distant assistants from our database that can do really good work for you based on your personality. So it's some proprietary software that we've been spending the last 6 months working on, and we're proud to say that's live, and we're excited to bring people into the fold, and it reduces that time. We all know it's chaos, and trust is a big factor. Like, all the time that you spend looking for somebody to hire, how do you trust them? How do you know your information is going to be safe or secure, and they're not going to be, a thief and leave with all of your, like, we do a lot of that due diligence. We do all of it, as a matter of fact. So everybody that you're matched with has already gone through 3 interviews. They're most likely a college graduate, where they've taken them through what we call the Bottleneck Academy, which is 6 weeks long. And then we take them through an elevated training program so that they learn the bottleneck way, how to become an effective distant assistant versus a transactional based virtual assistant.
Excellent. Well, we'll have that link in the show notes, so please check that out on Jamie's site. Well, Jamie, any last words before we get out of here?
Thank you. I just appreciate you being here, and I hope everybody takes the time to create their own ripple, be their own authentic self, and give yourself the right to take some time for yourself and build a scalable future.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Jamie. I think we had a great time together. We always do it when we talk. But hey, let's do this offline and book a quick 30-minute call and see how we can partner up and help each other grow each other's businesses further.
I love it.
I hope you have a great vacation. We'll do it after your vacation.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, everyone, please make sure to take advantage of Jamie's offer and reach out to him. Just want to say, we wish you and your business much success. This is Biz Coach Steve Feld. Have a great day.
We hope you enjoyed today's topic. If you'd like to discuss how you can apply these strategies in your business, let us know. This episode is sponsored by Spotlight Books. Get your own expert book written about you in 30 days. Set yourself apart from the competition. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Also, feel free to give us your comments. We look forward to hearing from you on Biz Coach and Coffee.